All right. So we're going to be discussing Adam and Eve in this video. And so the chapters Adam and Eve basically talks about the story of the beginning, and and where we see the first disconnect between a man and a woman. Now, I'm going to give you this warning real quick. Women are going to hate this. Women are going to tell you what I'm about to say is the biggest lie that you could ever imagine. They're lying to you, sir. This is the truth. The truth is, Adam was in the Garden of Eve, eating with Eve, and the serpent talked to Eve. Think about your girl. Think about how she just. Think about this one concept that I'm always going to preach. All women are crazy. All men are stupid. It's going to become clear in this example. When I say crazy, just think about the things that women think about and say, and some of the just craziness that where does it come from? So let's just say that we're in the Garden of Eden and the serpent is kicking it with Eve. Why the serpent didn't come up to Adam, we don't even understand. We don't know. But kicks it with her and says, hey, do this. Why don't you try this fruit? Oh, you mean this fruit over here that the creator of everything, this beautiful garden, the creator of us, told us not to eat? Yeah, it'll taste good. How crazy is that? I'm gonna eat this, and the creator told me not to eat it, but I'm gonna eat it anyway. And then she comes and tells the man, "Hey, eat this." What do you think he said? No. What do you when your woman tells you something crazy? What's the first thing you're like? Hell no, hell no, no, hell no. And then what does she do? She goes through this tirade, and you can just imagine how Eve was. She was going through the same tirade. You don't love me, and this, that, and the third, and she was probably on her period, and all of this and all of that, and you're not gonna get none, and you don't understand, and this, that, and the third, and you need to try something new, and you're so dull, and this, that, and the third. And so what does this dumbass do? He does it, and then when God comes, he knows that he's done something wrong, but just think about the scenario. Who does the creator address? The creator doesn't even address Eve. The creator addresses Adam because Adam is the decision maker. Sir, you are the decision maker. That's why you need to know what is going on. Like your woman is going to always distract you and do that's her. She just provides another way of seeing things, but because she's your woman and because she's just so persistent, you just have to learn to ignore her because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. That's why you give her some shit to do. Like, go do this, learn about this, do that. But over here, I know about this. I do this. Don't let her tell you about something that you're supposed to be doing, that you're supposed to know something about. And that's the whole thing. Because guess what's going to happen? She's going to tell you this, the same thing the creator said, same thing she's going to tell you, same thing that you've heard before. When you listen to your woman and shit does not go right, and you look at her and you be like, I listen to you, she's going to say what? I didn't tell you to do it. I didn't tell you to go out and change. I was just saying. I was just saying. She's always going to say that. So, what you have to understand is, regardless of what your choice is, you're the one to be held responsible. No matter how much it was her idea, no matter how much she might have done XYZ, no matter how, none of that matters. You are going to be held responsible. So if you are going to be held responsible and you know the way to do it, then you might as well do it your way. Plain and simple. That's the whole purpose of Adam and Eve is for you to understand. Like, if Adam made this big mistake of listening to a woman when he knew that he shouldn't have listened to her, then as your if he is Adam, he was the first man, and you're all the way down, you're all the way up here. You're supposed to be all the way this way. You're supposed to be more evolved. You're supposed to be more. You're supposed to have come leaps and bounds. Oh, there's that hat thing again. You're supposed to have come leaps and bounds to the point where you don't make the same mistakes that he made because the mistake is written down. It had to be of such importance that it was written down. Like, hey, look, sir. Hey, when your girl tells you something that sounds good, you may should think about it first. You may should not listen to her because, especially if you know better, if somebody of some great wisdom and what have you told you X, Y, and Z or A, B, and C, Your girl shouldn't be able to tell you LMO and you be like, oh shit, that means that means that shit XYZ. Nah, that shit might not be right, homie. Nah, sir, no sir, no sir. Don't try that shit. Don't try. If it ain't XYZ, then don't assume that it's nothing, girl, because she might not know what the fuck she's talking about. If it's nothing that she's read a whole bunch of books about, written massive papers about, experienced 67 times, and like all of that, then she might not know, and it might sound really good. Like, think about it. The creator has created you. And he says, yo, look at all of this. You don't have to do nothing. You don't have to struggle to eat. Whatever you think about, you just have. And just don't do this shit over here. And this woman convinced him to do otherwise. What could she have said if it wasn't something that was like super duper sweet? So, what is it that the governor tells you to do? What is it that VA is telling you to do? How do I avoid this? Don't listen to it. Don't even allow her to tell it to you. Hang up the phone. Don't read the message. Delete the thread. You have to do something. If you don't do anything, then you're going to be subject to fall into the trap. So you have to be mindful and say, okay, I'm going to do something right now because I see the trap coming. The trap is set. She set the trap. Women set traps. That's what they do. They ask you these questions to see if they can get you into a trap. Here's how you don't fall into the trap, sir. You don't keep fucking talking. You don't talk. Yo, you heard what I said. If you missed what I said, then you should have listened better. Like your maximum questions of the day has been exceeded. You ask no more. That's it. Like, if you're man enough, think about what would happen if you argue with your woman and you get mad and punch her in her motherfucking shit, or you push her, or you get aggressive to her. So if you're man enough in your nature to become aggressive with your woman like that, why are you not man enough to be civilized, to be that civilized a man to say, yo, this is what it is, and there's nothing else to say. Go read a book. I got this shit from a book. What book you read? Because as the man, that's the thing. You're always supposed to know. You're always supposed to know so that she doesn't trick you. Because she's always going to try to trick you. The devil's always going to try to come through this woman. Any woman. That's how they operate. Like through that blood and shit. It's some shit that we don't need to even understand. Right now, we're not trying to wrap our minds about it. But we can understand it because it's written there in nature and it's written there in the books and it's written there. It's just, you've seen it in your experience. If you do not think with your big head, if you not govern yourself accordingly, women will take you down a path that will lead to destruction. Why? Because they themselves don't know where the path leads. Unless it's like your mother or something. And then it has to be like your path and her path has to be aligned. Because if not, there'll still be some dissonance there. Unless you just have this ultimate trust in your mom. But that's a whole nother story. We're talking Caesar and what have you, and those times and what have you. But the purpose of you understanding this is to understand that if you have a goal in life, there's an opportunity that, like hanging out with some homeboys doing some dumbness, but chances are you're hanging out with these homeboys doing some dumbness to somehow further along down the road to impress some ladies, hopefully. Like, we want to avoid just doing dumb stuff to get ourselves into situations. So what we're going to understand is I need to know what it is that I'm doing in life, what it is I strive for, and understand that this woman is for me to tell her what it is to do and for her to assist me. If she has hunches or she has this divine nature, I listen to that, but I don't go too far to where I'm blinded, because I always know that I'm sticking to this path. And if what she says kind of takes me too far along this path, I'm not going to go there. I just know better. If I start to hear my voice get loud, I'm going to say, yo, it's time for me to separate from myself from you. A trick of the governor is, hey, if I start to feel myself getting loud, I think it's a proper time for us to, separate ourselves. And if we just so happen to be in my vehicle, I'm sorry. You're going to walk. unless you want to stop yelling. Unless you want to see things my way and calm down. If not, I don't want this to go any further. I don't want to yell. I don't want to name call. I want to avoid all those things altogether. And the only way that we can possibly do that is separate from one another. So you need to get outside the car. And depending upon the time and my schedule and where I need to be, I may not have time to wait for you or I to calm down, depending upon what the situation may be. And so I have to move on. Try to stop things before it gets too far. That's a little trick. We can learn how to do things like that later on. Whole point in this is your woman, by nature, by this example right here, in their first state in their creation, they naturally will try to lead you astray. Your goal is, as thinking with the big head, not the little head, not thinking with the five senses, but striving to think in a manner of, okay, this is the goal. I am a team. We are a team. You're on the team. What it is that you're saying, are you saying something that supports yourself or the team? Because there is a saying, and the saying is, women only get jealous when there's another woman in the cause. So you have to be mindful of all of that stuff and know what to listen to and what not to listen to, what to let in and what not to let in. And that is what decides what level of manhood that you're on, by what it is that you let in. Like how it is that you can sit around and hear an hour's worth of information, but really you only took 30 seconds in. But you gave the illusion that you listened to the whole hour. And none of that is really going to influence. It may influence, but it may not change. And influence would be only to enhance, but never to distract or to stray away. And so that's what it is that we look to learn from the chapter Adam and Eve.